So we had the newest release of Blue Beetle over the weekend. I was able to check it out, so let's talk about it. What's happening, guys? Back at you with another video. So we had the release of Blue Beetle finally over the weekend. I was able to check it out, and let's go ahead and talk about it, give my thoughts, give my review in this video. So first off, I gotta say, overall, I actually did enjoy this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. It was a very energetic movie, and this is one of those movies that I was actually looking forward to this year. This is one of my most anticipated movies of the year, so I was definitely looking forward to it. I was definitely excited for it. Blue Beetle has been one of those characters that's been one of my favorite characters from DC for a while now, probably going on for like 10 plus years now. Really, when it came to around the Young Justice, whenever Young Justice started, was kind of my sort of first introduction to the character, and I just really liked the character from Injustice. I got into the character, reading a little bit of comics here and there of the character too, and just really came to the forefront of being one of my favorite characters in DC. So going on to liking this character for about 10 plus years now, and just really being one of my favorite characters, enjoying this character, I was really looking forward to seeing what they were going to be able to do with this movie. And I was really excited for this movie. It was really one of my most anticipated movies of the year. When I heard about the first news of the casting for Jaime Reyes was going to be Sholo Mariduena from Cobra Kai, which Cobra Kai is one of my favorite shows to watch today. I was excited for this casting. I was really looking forward to this casting. I thought this was a great casting. I heard the news about that, and I had no disagreements with that casting. I thought he was going to do a good job with the role. I thought he was going to really bring it as Jaime Reyes, playing this character of Jaime Reyes and a Blue Beetle. I really thought he was going to do a good job. And I gotta say, after watching this movie, I 100% stand by him being the character of Jaime Reyes. He did such a phenomenal job with this character, playing this role, and really brought the character, like really felt and resonated with the way the character is and other stuff that I've seen in the comic books and all that, really playing this character really well. So I gotta say, a standout for this movie is definitely Sholo Mariduena for the role of Jaime Reyes, playing the Blue Beetle. Did an amazing job with the character in the role. Definitely looking forward to seeing what he could be able to do in the future of the DC. Really, one of the things that I really liked about him playing the character was that he really made the character relatable, in the sense to where this movie is definitely heavily influenced by Latino culture and really resonate with me, and I'm sure resonate with a lot of other throughout the whole Latino culture and heritage and all that. This is very heavily guided towards them and resonates more towards them. But a lot of people, I see that a lot of people could have a lot of fun with this movie, either way. But really became this character became relatable. You could see yourself in his shoes, the way his family is, the way he's trying to navigate through life, and with just barely graduating college, trying to find a job and all that. And you really resonate, and you can feel the relatability with this character. So I gotta say, Jaime Reyes, when it comes to Jaime Reyes and with Sholo Dueno playing him, I think he did a amazing job with the character and the role. And when it comes down to it, I think the family really is great. When it comes to the family aspect, the family dynamic, it really is great in this movie. Like I said, with the huge references and huge Latino culture really pushing itself in this movie, pushing itself forward in this movie, it really shows the very familiar family dynamic with this, and the way the family is all together, with the way how they act with each other, the banter, the things that we get with this family, and just the way that it really plays out, like it's really a Hispanic Latino family, and the way it just plays out with everything seems so familiar with them. You resonate with them. You familiarize yourself with them, and it really shows in this movie. Like, it was relatable. It felt familiar and all that with everything, all the references and everything with that in the culture. And I just really felt like it was a movie that was like showing that. When it comes to the family, really the standouts for me were, of course, George Lopez. A lot of people are going to say that George Lopez is funny in this movie. He really does stand out amongst most of the family members in this movie. Another standout for me in the family aspect was Nana, the grandmother. She really stood out. She was funny when it came to some parts in there. She really was a standout for the family dynamic and family aspect of this, and really enjoyed the whole family as a whole, really. So I really did enjoy the family aspect. I know I'm saying family a lot. It feels like a Fast and Furious movie, but really that the family is one of those one of those central things in this movie. It's one of those central things in this movie is the family dynamic and the family aspect. How Jaime Reyes is reacting, how he is with his family overall, and just shows in this movie it's like his motivation is his family. And that's one of the things I liked about this movie, is that they really put that into the forefront what his shows us his motivation, shows us all those different things with his family. I really liked how they were able to get in on the action too, especially when it came down to like the last full battle third act scene. The family really gets in on the action. It was really fun and enjoyable to see that. And I want to say another thing too. When it comes down to one of my favorite things in this movie was the whole practical use of suit. Like it was a practical suit with CGI mixed in. I liked how they were able to make an actual practical suit that he wears and throw in a little bit of CGI effects in there with it. I think when it comes down to it, the way that it was done in this movie is really well made, really done well in this movie, and I really did like the whole practical use of it with the CGI mixed in. When it came to like the transformation when he's first put on the scarab and the whole transformation he does in the beginning with the whole suit is really borderline like on a horror scene almost, like the way that the way that they show the suit is ingrained into his body, ingrained into his skin. The way that it shows it, it's almost venom like, venom esque, almost like it's almost like searing into his skin, like burning through his flesh and all that stuff. It almost feels like that. So it's like a borderline horror scene almost. Just the way the body horror is with this movie, I think with that scene and other parts of the movie too that we see, I think it's really well done. I really like that whole aspect of it. And really, when it comes down to it, one of the things I was looking forward to seeing what they're able to do with the whole Scarab Blue Beetle thing going on is like how they're going to translate well to the comics, from the comics to the movie. And I think they did a really good job of doing that, where the Scarab basically can make anything that Jaime imagines, really different kinds of weapons. We got blasters, arm cannons, swords, different things like that. And the way that the Scarab is able to make everything like that, I really think it's a unique way of having this character, having this power, having this suit, to where it could basically make almost anything that Jaime imagines. And I think they really did a good job of translating that from the comics to the movie and showing us that. It was really done pretty well. With this being such an origin movie, I think DC did a great job with this movie, or I think it does a good job of what DC should do with an origin movie, of introducing us to this character, making us relate to this character, and really just making us excited for the future of this character when it's all said and done with this first movie. And I think DC, what a movie should do for DC, I think they did it with this movie. It got us, introduced us to the character, introduced us to the motivations, relatability to this character, and was able to set up things that we could be excited for this character in the future. I think it done that really well with this movie, and I think that's what, when it comes to a DC movie, that's what you should do. It's like set up this origin, introduce us to this new character, get us excited for the future of this character. And I think this movie does it overall. But when it comes down to it, though, I think this one, considering how many DC movies we have had this year so far, and we still have another one coming out this year, honestly, to say that this one might be, at least in my opinion, might be the best DC movie of the year. In my opinion, this is my new favorite DC movie of the year, definitely. And I think overall, when it comes to comic book movies, I think it definitely could be in contention for like maybe around third or so best comic book movie of the year, behind Guardians of the Galaxy and Across the Spider-Verse. I think this one could be one of the top contenders for next best after those two. This one does a lot of great things in this movie that I really enjoyed. I really felt a lot with this movie. I had fun with this movie. I will say though, kind of things that I was thinking about during this movie was this movie does get better as it goes along. It might be a slight slow start in the beginning, but once the movie gets into it and the further along it gets into the movie, it gets way and way much better, more fun, more energetic, and all that in this movie. So I would say that's definitely just a slight thing against it, but nonetheless, overall, it's a great movie. You can definitely find some familiar and common superhero origin tropes in this movie, but I think it does it in a fun and energetic way, to where it's just a lot of fun and a lot of fun to see on screen. You have fun, there's laughs here and there. Well, especially when it comes to like George Lopez and some other stuff with the family and all that, definitely was one of the highlights of the movie when it comes to just those more funnier bits and here and there. There's a lot of not a lot of emotional scenes, but there is some emotional scenes in this movie because, like I said, this movie at its center is Jaime Reyes' motivation is because of his family. So you're going to have some emotional scenes here and there in this movie that could really hit you. But overall, this is a fun movie. I think it's a great introduction to the character of Blue Beetle, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they are able to do with this character. And I'm really looking forward to it. When it comes down to it, with me being a Blue Beetle fan, and introducing us to his character in a live action form with the way they did with this movie, I think overall I'm satisfied with it and I had a lot of fun with it, and I think it's going to be one of my new favorites of the year so far. So And honestly, I think it might be the best DC movie of the year so far. That's just my opinion, and I had a lot of fun with this movie, I gotta say. So, do I recommend watching this movie? I do recommend watching this movie, checking it out. I think I like the lower scale of this movie to where it's like compared to other movies that we've had to like to other comic book movies that we've had. This one is not high scale to where we're doing like multiverses. This is not a lot of CGI stuff in here, like other movies. This is more lower scale, and I like the whole thing with it being lower scale. It really felt like more of a fresh, not like a fresh take, but it felt more fresh to just have a lower scale type of comic book movie with this one and not be so blown out of proportion with CGI and different things like that. We're dealing with multiverses, the way we're dealing with this age of comic book movies, dealing with multiverses and high octane, high blown out proportion stuff. This one brings it back down to lower scale, and I did kind of enjoy that, and I did kind of like that. That was more lower scale in this movie. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this movie. Like I said, this is probably going to be a new favorite for this year. One of my new favorites for this year. So I recommend checking it out. I think I had a lot of fun with it. I think a lot of people will have a lot of fun with it also. And also too, there is actually 2 post-credit scenes. The first post-credit scene is definitely important for future things, but the last post-credit scene is kind of just a haha funny type of post-credit scene. Not really important, but like if you want to get a good laugh out of it, you can stay to the end. So just for your information kind of thing. 2 post-credit scenes to check out after the movie. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below if you checked out this movie. What are your thoughts on it? But that's going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Remember, if you want to be a part of Team Legendary, all you got to do is subscribe and turn notifications on so you know when I post another video. Hope you all have an awesome day. And remember, be legendary.